budget of even parrots. That our doctors are leaving, our nurses are leaving. Should worry us, but I'm not as worried as people are. I lived in the UK myself, where at a time, all the doctors, all the distance were from India. I used to tell people that I know India would take over in terms of ICT, in terms of technology, in terms of businesses. The economy of India, go and study it, will be a stronger economy in 10 years' time, because with an Indian and all those around in most of the schools, especially in my class, were Indians and Asians. I came to Oxford and did a program. The dean of the school was an Indian. Doctors in the UK, they are going back to India. They are the ones who are helping Indian government. If you mention, and most of the things they were doing were things that expatriate Indians who are now in charge of various agencies, Institute for Transforming India, were things that they brought, even if they had a former prime minister. We are now using, it is people like you and all those diaspora that if we get it right, like I said, brain drain will be brain gain. You come back. Because we're going to use your knowledge. You're actually going to be the first investors we are going to get when we talk about foreign investors. Foreign investors are not going to come until you people come. When they see you going home and making money, they will follow you. That's how foreign investors go to country. They don't just stay and say, let me go there and die. They have to see that, hey, when they see there's law and order, and David can come in and go out while criticizing government, nobody will harass him, nobody will talk about him, but he can come in and say, Mr. Peter Obi, you're a failure. Why not? As governor, I had people who harassed me all over the place. I've said this several times. Mrs. Ndibe, Okendibe's mother. Okendibe is a journalist that is well known to you, Professor Okendibe. The mother, I didn't know it was the mother, walked me out of a church as a governor. Said I should stop praying here because she's being owed gratuity and pension. That God will never hear my prayers. I should leave the church. And everybody was trying to control her. He said, no. I followed her to her house. And I said, Mama, I'm going to pay this money, not just to you, but to everybody. That's how I cleared 35 billion naira worth of gratuity and pension. From that woman, the way he was talking to me, if I do it today to anybody in Nigeria, they'll lock me up. But that's what governance is all about. You're choosing to do a job, you have to listen to the people. Not when they said you did this, you say, who are they? They should go and get people in their village, even when they are telling you the truth. So we must have a country that works. And if we have it, I can tell you the doctors, we can train more doctors, more nurses, more this. Some will leave, some will stay. Eventually, as we get involved in building our health infrastructure properly, where we create a proper insurance scheme that will take care of us. If India, with large population, can have a scheme that provides health facility for Indians, 1.4 million, Indonesia has the best. There are 216 something million. They have one of the best healthcare insurance in the world today that works for everybody, where the rich contributes and the poor contributes. And if all these countries can do it, we learn what they're doing and do it. It is not rocket science.
Thank you very much, sir. David, would you like to ask one more question?
Me?
Yeah, just ask it before we move on to Jimmy.
Okay. Right. I was gonna ask a question. This was a question about the Labour Party. Okay. Well, I don't know whether it was Otumba who wanted to ask this question, because I remember him mentioning it. But well, since we're already here, let's go ahead with it now. I remember having a conversation. I think it was with Saddam a few days back, and we're talking about the future of the it definitely wasn't Saddam. We're talking about the future of the Labour Party, right? And obviously, what PO's vision for the Labour Party and for the Obedient movement is. So I guess the question I would ask is, in now that we're obviously coming to the end of the 2023 election cycle, obviously we've recorded major successes both with the Obedient movement and the Labour Party. They're both joined at the hip, obviously. So how does PO see things moving forward in terms of motivating more young Nigerians potentially to become card-carrying, registered members of the Labour Party? I believe N6 has been very vocal about the need for young Nigerians to not just take an interest in this election cycle because Peter Obi is involved, but also to become, if possible, card-carrying members of the Labour Party, to take part in the internal processes of the party, if possible, and also to take note of the other candidates that the party fronts in the gubernatorial, senatorial, and House of Representatives elections, even at state level, state House of Reps, local council chairman, that sort of thing, so as to essentially create or boost a political structure that is independent of what had come before it. So what is Peter Obi's vision for how young Nigerians can plug into this, both in the short and in the medium term?
Well, my take in it is that, you see, the young Nigerians have been the greatest loser in this enterprise called Nigeria. They've been the greatest loser. Some of us live the life where I used to tell people, David, I bought my first car, Volkswagen. In fact, I would say the first car that I used, because the first car I used was the Honda Civic, which I bought and used and put it into a taxi system. I lived in Onitsha. The first time I bought the car was as a first-year student in Nsukka. I went to J. Allen in Enugu and bought the Volkswagen for Volks car for 2,700 naira. Drove it to university. I used it. Everybody in Nsukka know my car, AN700 SA. In my second year, end of my second year, David, I bought a Pigeon 505 from Umano Motors in Nsukka for 7,500 or 7,600 naira. By my final year, and leaving university, I had a BMW for 15,000. So, what am I trying to say? Look at that type of life that I lived. And so many other students. We had students then, Chris Okotie, who was in Enugu, doing his thing, Jidobi. We have other students who were doing similar things. Kanwobodo, all of us, we had cars, lived well, campus was what it is and everything. You're leaving school. Some people are going to work in corporations. Some people are going overseas for their masters. People were doing this. We traveled when there's the holidays. Student fare to go to London was 80 naira, then moved to 100 naira. You will say in university, inside the university, there's a bank who sell foreign exchange to you at $1, 60 kobo, or call it 1 naira to $1. And suddenly, it's now 850 to 1. And you're not worried. Then you're not a human being. So it's become a mess. And nobody's to be blamed. I'm not blaming anybody. But I'm saying we can get it reversed. The young people who have been the greatest loser, who have suffered the greatest pain in this, like NSAS and everything and all that, and still got a pushback. This is their time to get involved. If you look at what you were able to achieve in the past 8 months, I urge you to get involved. It's all I did and all I'm doing, and it's that I said, I will be with you in this exercise. And I liked when but I can say what I tell people, I'm not the that I left office. I had $150 million of my state money, and nobody urged me to save in dollars. Nobody. I did it on my own, and I had about 35 billion naira in cash, and I had a similar amount in investments. So I said today that they passed a law telling me they will build a house for me in Lagos, in Abuja and Oka, and I don't have one. I don't have a piece of land, in the whole of Anambra State, given to me by Anambra State government, in Oka in particular. I don't have a house in Abuja. My wife has a flat in Lagos. We live in it. And recently, because there's an issue, we're trying to repair, we rented a place. So for me, I'm not saying I'm a saint, but public money is for public good. I must be used for that. And it's important that people understand that. And for those who even do the wrong things, they should be human and think about what damage they're doing. So for me, the young ones, please get involved. No matter how this scenario we see ends, if you check what we were able to achieve in this short time, the future belongs to you. Kill or snatch it or kill or do anything. No. You're going to do it in an organized manner and lead this madness out of the door, because it is a case of where lunatics, all of us today, are the lunatics in charge. You must guide us to the door and bid us goodbye so you can start building a nation you can be proud of. That's how countries change. People bring about change. And that's what we are trying to reverse that by bringing tribalism into it, religion into it, and everything. When we've seen that all those things have not paid anybody, when I'm bringing it into it and everything, You now see them labeling Peter Obi this every morning, that every morning. Like I said, I'm not a saint. I've passed through schools. I've just told you schools where I passed through. You can go there, Google my name in anything, whether it's in Christ the King College, in Nsukka, in Oxford. But I passed through there. And the little knowledge I got from there, I used it for the benefit of the society in which I live in. I was a businessman. I would pass through the banks. I was director in 3 different banks. There are records people can go and check and say, this is this. So this is what we want to do for the new Nigeria. Let's see. Look at what David is doing. Look at the sacrifice people are doing. Look at what Saddam. Look at what all of you are doing in your different areas. Ibrahim, sacrifice. Let me be different. Let me say this is this. Even before I met all of you, I've been following what you're doing. I've been reading. I was telling David the day we spoke, I said, I thought you live in this thing. I thought you're much, much older. I was telling Saddam, I didn't even know who you are. David, I've never met any of you one-on-one. I've met Ibrahim, but look at us talking and share. So get on with it. Go and become party members, Labour Party member. We are not there yet. So you can come in and change it. You can come in and say no to this and everything. You become part of it. In the next few years, you take it over and be able to teach us how to do it better. That's my own lesson. Don't stay outside. It is not time to complain. I was at that time complaining, and I said, I won't complain again. Let me get involved. And I'm not involved, and that's where I am. And I'll do it for next few years. If you don't know, somebody like me, I won't say it, but if I had succeeded, who have shown credibility and experience, allow them to be part of whatever you're doing for the transition to move on very well.
Young Nigerians get involved in politics. It is time we start retiring these old men that are benefited from the system that works. I don't understand how you will see and you meet a naira at 1 naira and you're taking it to 800 naira and you're still flexing on our lives. So young Nigerians, I think the clarion call has been given out to us on this platform today. Please get involved. Get involved. Oh yeah, let's move.
Yeah, because I heard you say if you've already succeeded, sir. This is Mary White. My question is, so recently there was an unfortunate incident that occurred at the Federal High Court in Lagos, where a former CBN governor was arraigned for illegal possession of firearms. And more concerning was the high hand